I think this is cool as all hell. If we're not gonna get a Sega Saturn Mini, this is like close enough for me. And it's not emulation. This is legit hardware. Sure, it's not quite mini, but it's still smaller than a normal Sega Saturn, and you do not need discs. It's original hardware. You see it's just a board and a shell, cartridge slot up there. And on the back, we have power, barrel jack instead of what it normally used. And then our video out options there. Then our controller ports, couple buttons. This doesn't do anything, it's just there for no reason. And little LED hole so you know when it's powered on. This is really cool. So yeah, it's a Sega Saturn. It works just like a normal Sega Saturn. It just does not use discs. So I thought this was really cool. I wanted to check it out. I ordered it from China. This cost me, I don't know, I've seen a few different variants, but they all looked very similar, just different colors. I believe this one was like 112 bucks plus maybe $20 shipping. I don't remember for sure, but I know I saw some at like 112, then some that were like 140. But yeah, I had to check this thing out. I thought it looked cool. And then obviously to go along with it, which is what this system is meant for, is the Saroo. So a lot of people have been hitting me up about this thing to check it out for a while now. And that is where we are at. I have a Saroo SSHD loader. So this thing is sweet. It's like a RAM card or a memory card, you know, but you load games through it. And it still works as a memory card or RAM. You could load games on this thing that requires RAM, and it's gonna play just fine. No more discs. We've looked at a ton of different options on how to play Sega Saturn games, and I think this one is pretty cool because Saroo, it is an open source project, so I got this off of AliExpress as well, and depending on how you want this set up, they have them between $50 to like $80 because some come with a SD card. Like I got this one that came with 32 gigabyte SD card. It's already set up, it has games on it and everything. So I could just plug it in and start messing around with it. Add my own games if I want, if not everything that I want to play is on there. But I thought this was pretty cool. So they sell these either with like repurposed chips or new chips. That's how some of them might be a few dollars more expensive. This one I got with all new chips. So we're gonna check this thing out. So when I got this Saroo system, essentially that's what this is, Saroo Sega Saturn system, because the only way you're playing games is with this. Essentially, there's no other access. On the back, you have a little door so you could change the little battery out if you want. But yeah, no disk drive, just through this cartridge here. So all in, I mean, you're under 200 bucks to get this system. You just need controllers, video options. It did come with a power supply, little barrel jack, cheap thing, but seems to work. I've messed with this a little bit, but there we go, little crappy adapter. But let's plug this thing in and test it out. So I want to see what they included as far as the games on this SD card. But the one thing I got to point out, and I've heard from other people, is depending on where you get one of these Saroos, like you got to be careful on updating the firmware. You need to get with whoever you buy it from because, you know, as it's open source, there could be different firmwares, different ways they did this thing, and you don't want to accidentally brick it, right? So for video out, I'm using this Sega Saturn 2X line doubler that I've used on Neo Geos in past, some past videos. I thought this thing was cool, reasonable price, has tons of video options that you could tweak, and you could use it for numerous systems, comes with adapters for everything. I thought money well spent, in my opinion. I've been using this thing a lot. It's actually pretty nice. So there we go. Let's get this thing powered on and ready to go. I have this, the Brook Wingman. I am gonna use that to try out these games. Plug that in. It's gonna use the 8-bit controller. So let's rearrange, test some stuff out. Okay, so powering on. There we go. Let me turn the controller on. Hopefully it just automatically syncs. There we go. Okay, so I am not like a crazy expert with the Saroo yet. Like I said, I didn't even set this thing up. It just came pre-set up. So let's see what games they included on here. You have a few options there. I'm not gonna mess with anything other than the games. Got some Japanese games, Tomb Raider, Europe, Most iconic character of all time, video game character, Lara Croft. What? Thunder Force. Okay, so a lot of Japanese titles here, which is cool because, I mean, a lot of Japanese, you know, releases we didn't get over here, like Street Fighter Alpha 3. So that's nice to have that there. And a lot of those games you could play just fine. Radiant Silvergun, Panzer Dragoon, both 1 and 2, US version. Nights into Dreams, Marvel vs. Street Fighter. Sweet. Cotton 2. How many games are on here in this little SD card? Gunbird, House of the Dead. So you got a mix of, you know, US and Japanese releases, it looks like. That's pretty cool. So 63 titles here. Did I see Samurai Showdown? Because I know for sure that Grandia is a 4 meg game. Because these games should just run that require, you know, the expansion. Yeah, Samurai Showdown 3, I believe, requires a 1 megabyte RAM card. But with the way this thing works, it should just load up. Let's see. Oh, freaking nice. And the loading times are freaking ridiculous with this thing. Like, probably one of the quickest load times you could get with all these different options out there for the Sega Saturn. So that's pretty cool. And man, right into it. Holy crap. I like this Samurai Showdown, but it is one of my least favorites out of the series. It's like a flash cart for the Sega Saturn, and it's legitimately a cartridge. Okay, let's reset. So I think this is really cool that, you know, when I see these systems like those Nintendo DS's and stuff like this, where they're repurposing hardware that most likely was junked or it had like parts that didn't work. Like maybe the drive was fried, maybe the power supply board was jacked up and they just took the main board and did a couple minor modifications and bam, you got a system that could be utilized in another way. So I think that's pretty cool. Marvel vs. Street Fighter. And you see that game booting doesn't stay up for very long. It like gets right into it. Then in Japan, the Sega Saturn was, oh my God, all the fighting games that they got over there. Man, we got a lot too, but not like Japan. This machine was awesome for fighting games. Look at how quick everything loaded up. Holy crap, dude. I'm just kind of getting used to the controls on this since it's not a Sega Saturn pad, but it seems to be working pretty well. And the cool thing with the Brook Wingman, you could like use arcade sticks. You could use wireless controllers, wired controllers. So I've done plenty of videos. This thing's been out for a while, but I think this thing is awesome to be able to use it on a Sega Saturn or Dreamcast. It allows you to use controllers you already got, type of thing. Let's try Nights into Dreams. Man, the load times here are freaking great. I'm accustomed to, you know, playing Saturn with discs, and this is freaking awesome. And it's not emulation, it's real hardware. Freaking awesome. And I'm using the analog stick. So, well, there you go. I think this is pretty awesome. Like, I don't know what else to say about this thing. Like, it's either going to be for you or it's not. I'm digging this. I think it's sick. I don't know about you, but I'll put links down below from where I ordered these if you're interested, really cool option for not a crazy amount of money. I mean, it just depends on, you know, what you got to spend or what you think is a crazy amount of money. But I've like for this whole setup, I've spent more than that on just a normal Sega Saturn in the past. So I thought this was pretty slick. But there you go. Thanks for watching. Bye.